Hi, I'm Marshall. I'm the owner of Going Gear, and I'm here in our store in Smyrna, Georgia. This is the extended review of the Niwalker MM15 flashlight. So here's the packaging for the MM15. Some good information on here. 5,233 lumens. Got a nice little chart on the side talking about the different output levels and the run times. At the 5,233 lumens, you're looking at 2.1 hours. One quick note on that, we have people ask us about that. Any of the companies that are using ANSI specs, which this company is, the ANSI spec is for the highest output, or for any of the outputs, the runtime is when that output gets down to 20% of that level. That's the runtime. So keep in mind that 2.1 hours, this thing's probably going to be around 1,000 lumens. Just a heads up that it's not going to run at 5,233 lumens for 2.1 hours. We get that question a lot. So anyway, you can always get the full specs on our site if you have any questions about this. This is definitely not a thrower. 280 meters. It's just the sheer output is why it's getting out that far. A lot of lights this size will get out further, but you'll see when we go outside, this thing just puts out an incredible amount of light. And that's why it's getting out as far as it is. Let's just go ahead and open it up, show you what you get on the inside. Pull out the light itself, comes in a nice little holster. Got a few other things in here. User manual, always worth a read. Talks about the operation. You got warranty information, battery installation, specs, warranty card. Definitely worth hanging on to. As with most of our flashlight brands, you do the warranties through us if you buy it from us. Some of the accessories that you have. So this thing actually comes with a handle, and it's a pretty cool little handle. We'll set that to the side. Show you how that works here in just a little bit. Other stuff, so you have a hex key to attach the handle. You got a couple of screws in there, a lanyard, spare O-ring, all good stuff. So here is the light in the holster. Pretty nice holster. So a lot of companies give you just these cheap throwaway things that you have to replace because they're just not very nice, not very high quality. This is nice thick nylon, protects the light really well, covers up pretty much all parts of it. Has good attachment points on the back, so you've got nice wide attachment points, a couple of different ways of attaching it. Clip it to your belt or pack or whatever. Not too bad for something that they don't have to include. So here is the light itself. Again, this little guy, 5,233 lumens. It's pretty crazy. This is one of the few lights that I've been excited about in a while. This thing is just an insane amount of light for something its size. I've actually had a prototype for close to a year now, and when they first sent it to me, I was like, are you serious? This little thing is going to put out that kind of lumens? And I turned it on, and it was just incredible. So anyway, the handle on here, there are some other companies out there that make handles, and I've never been very impressed by it. And actually really like it on this light. So it attaches right here. You've got the Allen wrench and then a couple screws that hold it in place. And the really nice thing about it is if you're holding it, your hand is in the right position for the switch. So your thumb is going to be right on that switch if you're holding it, and it is actually kind of comfortable to hold it around. And because this thing has such shallow reflectors, there is a decent amount of light coming back at you, if you're holding it relatively close to your body. So if you're holding it with a handle, you can kind of hold it out in front of you a little bit better. You don't get a lot of that splashback you get if you're not using the handle. So it's a cool option, but just for the purposes of the video, because I'm going to be removing batteries and stuff, we're going to keep it off of there for now. By the time I go outside, I'll probably have it on there. So anyway, let's take a little bit closer look at this thing. So I don't have, freakishly large hands or anything like that. So I have about average size hands. You can see this thing is small. It fits in the palm of your hand and is putting out those kind of lumens. Pretty crazy. So there's the back of the light. There's the couple of LEDs. So there's two of the Cree MTG2 LEDs. Massive, massive LEDs. Relatively small reflectors. This is going to be a very floody light. So again, the distance that you're getting out of this is just because of the sheer output of it. That's why you're able to get out to 280 meters. It's just going to be a very, very floody beam. If you like concentrated spots, this is absolutely not the light for you. If you want to just create a wall of light, light up everything in front of you, perfect light. So you got the two LEDs, each in their separate reflector area. You got this bezel on here to protect from impact. Nice lens on there with really good optical clarity. There is the switch. It actually blinks green when the light's on, and then it'll blink red when the batteries get low. Kind of a nice feature. You've got a tripod mount down there in case you happen to want to use that. This right here, I think, is where you attach the lanyard. Yep, that's where you attach the lanyard. You can tell how much advanced preparation I did for this video. So let's go ahead and open it up, show you the inside. So here's the battery holder. Kind of a cool feature in that the battery holder is actually integrated into the body of the flashlight. So a lot of times, it'll be something that pulls out or slides out. something that you can lose or misplace. But it's integrated in, so it's going to be nice and securely on there. So there's the battery tube. It's basically just a tube of aluminum, because most of all the internals and everything are in here. You actually don't even have to use this thing. Of course, I recommend it because it's going to protect your internals and all that, but it's not required for operation. So we're going to go ahead and put 4 18650s in there. This thing is powered by 4 18650s. Have some new batteries. So these are the Olight 18650s, 3400 milliamp hours. We always recommended the EagleTacs in the past. These are a few dollars cheaper, so that's why we recommend them. Save a few dollars. They're using the same really high quality Panasonic cells. They actually look pretty cool. And one of my favorite things about them, if I can grab one of the new ones out of the packaging over here, they come with a free battery case, which, hey, that's pretty cool. Why not? So it comes with a battery case that holds a couple 18650s. So if you're looking for 18650s, these EagleTac 3400 ones are the ones that we recommend. And you'll notice there's actually a misprint on them. They say 3.6 volts. They're 3.7 volts. They're standard lithium-ion batteries. Of course, it depends on how charged they are at the time. Anyway, 4 18650 batteries. Let's go ahead and slide these things in. For the larger batteries, like any of the 3400s from any companies, it's kind of a tight fit, but you can get them in there. You can see it's not difficult at all. You might start scratching your casing a little bit, but that's not a big deal. It's not going to affect performance or anything like that. Let's go ahead and pop those 4 18650s in there. Put the tube back on. You'll see that guy will start blinking. And again, doesn't even have to be on there for the light to operate. But it's a good idea to have it in there, especially if you're in dusty or rainy conditions or anything like that. You want to protect the internals from dust and grime and water and all that other kind of stuff. So, switch will flash. It'll flash green every few seconds, and then when the batteries get low, you'll see it start flashing red. It's kind of flush with the body, which was a complaint that I had about the original one. So the original one didn't have any machining like this, the prototype that I got, to differentiate the different parts of the body, so it's kind of hard to find the switch at night. On this one, it's very obvious where that switch is. So I mean, you've got that big protrusion, you got that machining, it's really easy to find where that switch is, and if you have that handle on there, it's super easy. You just put your thumb down, and there's the switch. But even at night, it's easy to find that big protrusion. You can find the switch pretty easily. So the operation on this, if you tap that switch, it's going to turn the light on, and it does have mode memory, so it's going to turn back on into whatever mode you had it on last. If you have it on and you press and hold, you see it'll cycle through your different outputs. And just like most lights that do this, if you just let go when you see the one you want, it's going to stay in that light, or stay in that mode. You can see it's going to stay lit green when you have the light on. And then when you have it on, if you double press, it'll go straight into the max output, that 5,233 lumens. And I gotta say, I can actually feel the heat on my hand, which is pretty crazy for an LED light. A lot of times you can't feel a lot of heat coming off of them, but you can actually feel the heat on your hand, putting it in front of this. And you also have some flashing modes, so if you have it on, if you have it off and double click, it's gonna go right into strobe. Kind of point that off camera because that's pretty obnoxious. We like to hit each other in the store with that. It's debilitating. You also have a lockout mode, so if you have it turned off, triple click, you'll see it kind of flash like that, and it'll go into lockout mode. The switch will stop flashing. You tap it, it doesn't do anything. And the way to get it out of it, just do the same thing. Triple click. And that is an electronic switch, so even if it's in standby, when you put it in that lockout mode, it's drawing a tiny, tiny bit of power, but it's something like 2 or 3 years before it's actually going to drain the batteries. So, for long-term storage, it's not going to be a problem. If you really worry about it, just pop out the batteries, and then you don't have to worry about it at all. And it's drawing a little bit of power as well when it's doing that flashing, but again, not a whole lot of power. It's still going to last you for a long time. But if you're worried about it, put it in lockout, or if you're worried about that, take the batteries out. So you have a couple other flashing modes in here as well. So if you have it turned on, you do that double click, it's going to go to the max output. You can double click again, it'll go into strobe. Double click again, it will go into SOS. One more time, and it'll go into a beacon flashing mode. So you have some other hidden flashing modes in there. It's not like you're going to get to them just through regular operation. If you're doing all those double clicks, you're going to be doing it on purpose. So they're not going to come on accidentally, unless you just like going to town on the switch and just click away. So one thing I wanted to note, I never really talk about this in the videos, but we do have bundles available for this kind of stuff. People always ask us, what battery should I get? What charger should I get? So take a look at our bundles. We put all that stuff together in one package. It's a lot easier to buy. So we have it with the with 8 batteries, so that'll give you 4 batteries plus 4 spares. And then the charger we recommend, the IntelliCharger i4. I think we might have another charger on there as well. But you can get all that at once. So you know the stuff works together, you know it works well, you don't have to worry about selecting all the different parts and pieces. One thing I forgot to note about the interface before is that if you press and hold from off, you actually have momentary of the max output. Kind of a nice feature. So again, real quick on the interface, tap it to turn it on from off. Press and hold, you've got that momentary of the max output. Double click from off, you have instant access to strobe. When you have it turned on, press and hold, it'll cycle through your different outputs. Let go when you see the one that you want. From on, double click, max output. One more time is strobe. One more time is SOS. One more time is beacon. So you got some hidden flashing modes in there as well. Alright, so there you go. That's the interface and everything of the Niwalker Nova Minimax 15 or MM15. We're going to go ahead and take this outside and we'll show you how the MM15 does outside. Alright, so we're outside with the Niwalker MM15. We're going to see what this little beast can do here in just a second. But first off, we are going to use my trusty 40 mag light, since I use it in pretty much every video and pretty much everybody is familiar with how it performs. Let's go ahead and try that out first. So there's a little bush about 25 feet away. Dock house down there on the lake about 100 feet away. Just to get an idea of a baseline. And then let's go ahead and try out the MM15. So turn it on. One of its low outputs. Obviously good for up close kind of stuff. And fantastic battery life, but 15-20 feet away, perfectly usable amount of light, and again, great battery life. And then when you need it, you got those higher outputs, so we'll let it just kind of ramp up through those, get an idea what all the different outputs look like. And then when you need it, that full 5,233 lumens. Crazy amount of light coming out of this thing. We'll zoom in just so you can see how well it's lit up down there. So that's 100 feet away. It's like daytime down there. This thing is really impressive. I mean, you can see modern LEDs and modern batteries, what they can do. And just so people are going to ask, is it really that little light putting out all those lumens? There you go. You can see it really is that little guy putting out all those lumens. Really impressive. When I first got one of these and I got to turn it on, I was like, man, that thing is that thing is crazy. It's a lot of fun and very useful. You know, it's a super useful beam. You got that nice floody beam, so it's good for just lighting up everything in front of you. As you can see, I don't have a lot of use for distance lights because, well, we're in Georgia. We have lots of trees. So lighting up just wide areas is a lot more useful to me. And this is the perfect light for that. Kind of shine it around a little bit. Alright, what we're going to do now is we have a little bit more distance to work with. So we're going to go ahead and try it out just so you can see what it can do with about 130 yards. Okay, we have some more distance to work with, about 130 yards now. Got the Niwalker MM15. Let's go ahead and give it a try. We'll turn it on. And we're going to go ahead and crank it to full output because, again, this is not a thrower. But you can see 130 yards out. So the first target out there, these are the same ones we use for the long distance comparison if you recognize them. So first one's 50 yards, second one's 100 yards. The tree line out there is 130 yards. So you can see basically everything in front of me for about 130 yards is just lit up. I mean, everything's just lit up really well. 5,000 lumens will do that even if you don't have, you know, super deep reflectors to give you crazy throw. If you want a crazy throw light, check out the Niwalker Vostro line. I'll have a review out for those pretty soon. Those are some crazy throwers. This one still gets out to a really nice distance just for the sheer output. So kind of shining around. That right there, the boat is about 20 feet away. I gave you the distances on the targets. We'll zoom in again on those just so you can see how they're lit up. Those signs are out at about 60 yards. You can see all the pollen and crap floating through the air. You gotta love Georgia Springs. Pretty cool light. I mean, the sheer output of this is impressive. It's a fun little light, especially for the size. You turn it on and just blow yourself away and everyone around you with the amount of lumens that can come out of this thing. So really nice light. I highly recommend it. It is definitely one of my new favorites. And it is the Niwalker MM15. If you like it, you can buy it from us at goinggear.com. Questions or comments, you can reach me in the comments or at goinggear.com. And if you like the video, please subscribe. We do a lot of gear and flashlight videos. Thanks for watching.